All right, you guys. Hello, hello, hello. Here we are. This is literally our last interview for Lady Bird Live on Facebook season 2. Woo! We made it. Season 2. All right, so make sure you guys, when you come on here, you're sharing out. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, and on X, aka Twitter. That's everywhere we're live. What's up, Raquel? There go my girl. I see you. Look, she just texted you.
Hey,
She was like,
sis.
"You're going live. I'm here." Hey, Shelly.
I shared the link to her.
So, you guys, if you are watching right now, whether it is on X, Facebook, YouTube, make sure you're sharing. Make sure you are in the comments. You're not going to want to miss this interview. If you're watching the replay, thank you for watching the replay. Share the replay as well. I'm sitting here with my girl, Lisa. I've known Lisa for a while. Lisa has known me so long that she has watched my kids grow up, okay? That is how long we have known each other. I can't even put a year on it. It's been over 10 years because Mila wasn't born. So well over 10 years that Lisa and I have known each other. Hey, Angel. Hey, Deanna. Hey, Erica. Hey, Stephanie. Stephanie says, I'm new here. Hey, Stephanie. Welcome. All right. So today we are going to be talking about surviving 30 years. So yeah, Lisa has been diagnosed as someone who is HIV positive for the last 30 years. And that is amazing. Let me tell you something. I remember being initially diagnosed and being surrounded by, at that time, I was surrounded by women who had been diagnosed 20 and 25 years. So I kind of do know what that looks like. But to have someone this close of a friend to me, to be able to sit down and have this conversation with, and I want you guys to also take away from this interview and get this information, because this is at this point, we were talking about this a minute ago, that whole, at what point is it like, you're what do they call it? Long-term survivor. Okay. And I had to Google it. It was like after 10 years, you're basically considered a long-term survivor. And so I'm going on 17 years. Lisa got me by she's doubled me, okay? And so I can't wait for you guys to hear her story. Because let me tell you something. Your mouth is gonna drop. Hey, Krista, there are gonna be moments where you're gonna be hearing things in this story that are gonna make your mouth drop, gonna make you look like, what in the heck? What? There's also gonna be some things that she's gonna share that I've never heard, because I purposely, when it comes to like my friends, I am always one who I never like want to feel invasive. Like, girl, well, what happened? And what happened next? What happened? I always organically want to learn people. So even though I know the bulk of Lisa's story, I may not know the full story. Raquel might have to leave and come back. She says she can't hear or see. So yeah, she might have to leave and come back. Look, let me tell her you might have to leave and come back. Okay. So yeah. Thank you, Lisa. Look, I was like, wait, Lisa, my other Lisa. I got two Lisas.
Yeah.
Oh, she can hear. Okay. All right. So I'm just gonna let you have it. You know, I told you I want you to share whatever you feel comfortable sharing. I want you to share it, and then we're gonna talk about it. If you guys have questions as she's going through this, I want you guys to put your questions in the comments. I got my little notepad here, so I'm gonna be taking notes of your questions so that we don't forget. And yeah, let's go. I'm ready.
Well, hello, guys. My name is Lisa, and yes, I have been living with HIV since 1994. Um,
Fur babies, we love them. That's a big fur baby too.
I'm sorry, guys. So, some
That's
of the
what they
people that are in the live might know my cat. This is Simba. They know how my cat is when I'm live. This is
Simba
him when I'm
like
live.
put me in,
Yes,
coach.
I got to be on her shoulder. So, and this doesn't happen often because he's a traitor and he traded me in for my roommate. And she's outside, so that's the only reason why he's probably up here. Because when she's around, he does not come to me at all. But so yes, I'm sorry. So yes, I have been living with HIV since 1994. I contracted the virus in June, but I did not get diagnosed until November. I was 22 years old in 1994. I turned 22 in May, um, and then contracted the virus in June, got tested and diagnosed in November. So I just basically I was asymptomatic, which means I had no symptoms of the HIV, but and this is what me and you had a falling out about. So back in 94, doctors labeled it and named it, and they don't do this anymore, but back then, because I contracted gonorrhea in June, they said gonorrhea can be a trait of HIV, which that's not meaning that you get HIV with you. You can get HIV when you get gonorrhea, but it's not like a trait of gonorrhea, which confused me because when you said that that's not true, I was like, well, that's what they told me. That's how they, But back then, a lot of doctors didn't know how to like address it or whatever, I guess. So, and me and you both talk about this when you're getting tested for HIV or even not HIV, getting tested for STDs, you have to specifically ask for it's HIV, it's herpes, and I think there's two more tests that you have to specifically ask for because they're very expensive tests and they don't automatically test you for it. Because when they tested me for gonorrhea, they did not test me for HIV. And that's why I didn't know from June till November. Because, like I said, I was asymptomatic. I had no symptoms. So when I went in to the doctor for my female checkup, my yearly checkup. And because I don't have a gallbladder, I was having problems digesting certain kinds of foods. And she's like, well, I want to do an HIV test, because she asked me if I had an STI. I said yes, I had gonorrhea in June. And that's when she said gonorrhea can be, HIV can be a trait of gonorrhea. And I said, well, okay. And I didn't know nothing about HIV. I only knew the little bit of people die from it, you know, because I thought HIV and AIDS was the same thing. And so I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm going to die. So I got tested. And back then, they didn't have the rapid tests. So I had to wait 3 weeks. Excuse me. And 3 weeks later, I went in for my results and she told me I was positive. And I literally cried. I told them to go get my daughter and my mother. And my mother was like, I knew you were positive. She's like, I knew you had AIDS. And she said, effing AIDS. And you're effing dying. I was 22 years old, and forgive me
Wow.
if I start crying because I still cry to this day because that's my mom.
Yeah.
And when you're, when you're, I wasn't a mama's girl. I was more of a daddy's girl than I was a mama's girl because my dad raised me from when I was 3 until I was grown. So it's like for my mom to disown me
Yeah.
and make me start washing my dishes separate from hers and my stepdad's and my daughter's, and making me scrub the tub with bleach and making me scrub the toilet with bleach and making me scrub the sink with bleach. And then my daughter, she was like 10 months old at the time. because I contracted the virus after she was born, but because they didn't know for sure, I had to test her.
Right.
And then I had to test her until she was almost 2.5. So I had to test her for that first, like, so she was like 10 months old. So I had to test her immediately. Then I tested her again 3 months later, and then another 3 months, and then 3 months. And then in January, when she turned she turned 2, they told me we want to test her one more time, and then if she's negative, then she's negative. So obviously she is negative. But I needed my mom the most at that particular time because I was uneducated, and everybody doesn't heal as fast as, and I'm not even going to say that I healed, but I came to terms with it and was like, you know what, fuck this shit. I'm going to get educated. I'm going to learn the do's and the don'ts, and I'm going to learn that how long I can live with this virus.
Right.
And once I got educated, I knew that I wasn't going to die. Like, I knew as long as I was compliant with my doctor, as long as, because at that time I was what is called a non-progressor or an elite controller.
Yeah. Elite controller.
And I was on no medications until I had my daughter in 2001. And getting pregnant or using substances can cause you to lose your non-progressor status. So I did lose my non-progressor status, but I wasn't to the point where I had an AIDS diagnosis. I've never had an AIDS diagnosis. I've always been undetectable. My CD4 count has always been above, what is it, 200. Um, so I have been on, so my first set of medications, I was on 3 medications, but I was taking 18 pills twice a day. And that was when I
Whoa.
first got on medications in 2001. And then after I was on those for a bit, I was able to get on 2 pills once a day. And then I got on a 1 pill once a day. And now I'm on the injection, which is called Cabenuva. It is given every 2 months. And I love the shot. I love it. Somebody, you gotta get down. You can't get up there. Come this way. Oh, okay. Sorry. My roommate's allergic to cats, and he wants to be on the couch, and he can't because he leaves fur everywhere. So
Yeah.
anyway, so I'm now on the injection, and I love it. I just had it a week ago, I think. Last Thursday. Last Thursday I had
Okay.
it. So
Yeah.
I'm not due again for another 2 months. So what, January?
So how did you feel? Look, there's not even time for Q&A, but I just have to ask,
So I feel okay. Like I was telling you, because when I asked you, I think you were on live with Destiny. I asked you if you had any side effects, or it might have been in one of your lives on
Yeah, yeah.
TikTok. I asked you if you had any side effects because not everybody has them.
Right,
Everybody's
yeah,
different.
yeah.
But everybody that I know that has been on it has had the pain at the injection site, or like when you first have it, you have the pain, but then the pain subsides, which
Yeah.
that's what happened to me.
Oh,
So
okay.
on the first, I want to say 4 injections, I had the pain at the injection site for about 3 to 4 days, and then each time I went in, the amount of time that I was in the pain lessened, and now I
Right.
don't even have the pain at all. Like, it does burn when it goes in, but I don't have the pain at the
Right,
injection
yeah. Yeah.
afterwards. So that's the good thing. And I will honestly say that if you feel that you like, for me, it wasn't that I was missing a lot of doses. It was just, it's easier for me because I don't have to worry about, because I take other medications for other things that
Yeah.
I have, that lessens another pill that I have to take.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because I was on Odefsey before I got on the injection, and it was once a day, but you have to eat a certain amount of calories, or it doesn't digest, it doesn't absorb properly. And I don't always eat 300 or 400 calories at a meal,
Yeah.
so it's easier for me.
Yeah.
And then The person who I contracted the virus from was I have a daughter that's 30. I contracted it from her father, but it was after she was born. Um, he is also on the injection now. So, and he did have the pain at the injection site, but he doesn't anymore. He's doing great with it. He's still undetectable. His CD4 is still, 900 or 1,000 or whatever it was last time I talked to him. And, it took me a long time because I had to take accountability for myself, and I don't know if you advocate, because every advocate advocates differently.
Right.
And I believe that, yes, people should be open about their status when they're dating somebody that's negative. I do disclose my status every single time that I'm with somebody immediately. Like, I don't keep that a secret at all.
Right.
But it's also the person who's negative's responsibility to take care of their self.
Go
And
get
you did
tested.
everything right. You did everything right. And that was fucked up. That's all I'm going to say about that. That was fucked up.
Yeah.
But, now they have where, if you're in a relationship with somebody and the person is positive, but you want to go get tested and the other person wants to get tested, you can test together and you can get your results together. So, and if they tell you you can't, then find somewhere else to go get tested, because
absolutely. Right.
they will most definitely do your testing together. And you want to tell them that you want couple testing and you want your results and you want to be tested together and you want your results together. That way nobody can lie. You'll see his results and they'll see your results, or vice versa.
Right.
If it's, two males, two females, male, female, whatever, you'll see each other's results right then and there.
Yeah.
Because not everybody is honest, and, not everybody is like me. When I disclosed to my roommate, she was like, oh, okay. And I love my roommate. I love my roommate to death. Like, I don't know what I would do without her. So I'm gonna hate when I move. When I do finally buy a house or move into another apartment, because I'm moving far away. She won't leave the area because her dad's still alive, and I totally understand. Her dad is older, and has other illnesses. He's got diabetes and some other things going on with them. So I understand she wants to be close to her dad. I understand that. Because if I wouldn't have been around when my dad was ill and my dad passed, I would have lost it if I would have lost my dad and not known, because I was a daddy's girl. So I was there when he passed away. So
look, my people is so impatient. Tannis, I'm about to come through this. Listen, Tannis finna get a public whooping on the live.
what's
We
he
are
saying?
not
What
at
is
the
he or she
Q&A
saying?
session. We are not at the
Oh.
we are not at the Q&A session. That's why I'm ignoring y'all now. Just playing. But no.
Right. And I want to say this because I cannot see any of the comments. I just want to thank everybody that is from her side of the Facebook world and YouTube and TikTok.
We want to thank everybody that's tuning in right now. I see my girl Trelly Trail. She over there on X watching. Crystal's over there on X watching. All my little Roosevelt family, they probably over there taking a peek in. We have everybody over here on Facebook, and then I have some friends over on YouTube that are watching also. But we do have some questions. We can mix it up. We how we do. We gonna treat this like it's a TikTok. Hello.
Right.
So I did jot a couple things down, and shout out to Mr. Majestic. What is it? 13, Mr. Majestic 13. I know them Roman numerals a little bit. Over on YouTube, he's saying, I don't know if that's a he or she. I'm assuming it's a he because it says Mr. He's making a lot of great comment statements in the comments too, so I'm going to address that as well. But I wanted to talk about the part where you said about the elite controller. So for you guys that don't know what it means when she's saying she was an elite controller, this is someone who is diagnosed as being HIV positive, but their specific HIV virus that they have, that whole genetic code of their HIV virus is one that is able to actually fight. Their body is able to fight against that strand that they have. And so what happens is she could have went however long her body was going to allow without taking any of the HIV medications that are available to us to take. But like she said, certain situations happen. Maybe she ended up being, get pregnant. They're going to want you to take medications, different things. And that also can knock that whole elite controller situation and cause you to actually now depend on the medication versus your body actually doing. And really, being an elite controller is almost if you were someone who had type 2 HIV. Because people that have the HIV type 2, they don't take medications. Their body actually can regulate and fight the virus on its own. So those are some similarities there. Um, and then someone wanted to know, do you stay sick a lot?
No. So, because I'm undetectable and my CD4 is 900, I don't get sick no more than a normal person that's negative would get sick. I do get a lot of sinus infections because I live in the country. So I suffer from sinuses and allergies anyway. So when the farmers do their crops in the summer and do their crops in the winter, I do get a lot of congestion. Like right now, I'm fighting fluid in my ear and an ear infection. But that comes with the territory of living in the country. But I don't get the flu. I don't get pneumonia. I don't, know. So only thing I've ever gotten is maybe an upper respiratory infection.
So when they offered
and since I've stopped,
I was gonna say when they offered the pneumonia they offer us the pneumonia and the flu vaccine. Do you typically get those, or do you kind of be like, if I get it, it's just gonna run its course and I got it? That type of.
Yeah. So I used to get the flu and the pneumonia shots, but every time I would get the flu shot, I would always get sick immediately afterwards. So I stopped taking it. I'm like, if I'm going to get the flu, I might as well just get it, because I think when I take the injection, it was really bad. Because I know one time, because I had got back together with the person who I contracted the virus from. His name, I'm not going to tell his name, but it's my daughter's father, my baby daddy.
My baby daddy.
When I got back with him, I had just got the flu shot, and I was sick for like 3 weeks. And I said, no. That's when I think that was right around the time I stopped taking the flu shot. And I don't take the pneumonia anymore. And thank God, I'm knocking on wood. Thank God I did catch COVID, but I got the strand of COVID. It's a newer strand where it's more like the flu or a sinus infection.
I think that's the one I just had in I had it in July. I was only sick for like 5 days. They gave me like that Paxlovid, and then I was fine. And it just felt like I had, like you say, flu. Like I was achy. I felt like I had the flu. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, guys, I just want to interrupt you real quick. So she has my screen name for Facebook. It's Lisa Obradovich. I have 2 pages. So I just want to say this. So the one that has my picture, and I think I'm wearing a black bandana, I think. That's my page. The other page is my children, and it's also me, but I don't have access to that page anymore. So I just wanted to put that out there because there is 2 Lisa Obradovich, and they're both spelled the same. So yeah, and one of them is me with my 2 daughters, I think. But I don't have the email for that anymore, so I can't access that account. So, and I can't delete it. So it's still up there. So yeah, so the one that's a picture of me, or it might be a picture of my dad with a pink breast cancer ribbon. That's the page that I am active on. And you'll actually see, the page with the picture
and her
today.
TikTok, Lil Lisa 50, LIL Lisa 50. And so I wanted to, I wanted to read what Majestic was saying in the comments. So Mr. Majestic said, I wonder when will scientists finally be able to use the CRISPR-Cas12b gene editing tool to create the CCR5 Delta 32 mutation in people to be resistant to HIV and cure individuals currently with HIV-1. And what he's talking about, because I know a lot of people probably saw that, like, what the hell is he talking about? So there are 7 individuals who have been what we call functionally cured of the HIV virus. The very first person was my great friend, Timothy Ray Brown. He's no longer with us. But what happens is these are individuals who ended up having a bone marrow transplant done to treat the cancer that they had cancer, and so their donor the donor bone marrow that they received was actually from someone who had that delta, what he just said here, the that CCR5 delta 32 mutation. What that mutation is, that's a mutation where on your on your actual T helper cells, there's typically a coating over that cell. And when you have that delta 32 mutation, there is no coating. So the HIV virus is not able to actually eat into the cell and invade the T helper cell. That is how the virus actually invades the cell. It eats that coating off of the cell, invades the cell, and that is how it takes over your T helper cells. So when you have that delta 32 mutation, the virus cannot do that. So once the virus enters somebody who has that mutation, it can't take over and be the host to any of those cells. So what happens when you can't take over? You die. And that is what happens. And that is how those individuals were able to actually be cured of the HIV virus. Is this something that we can do to everyone? And that's what he's saying. When will scientists finally be able to do that? There should be a way, because they have they have a way to do it. But I think the fear right now is how to successfully do it without having to do such an invasive procedure as a bone marrow transplant, because that is where that cure is going to lie. Everybody is not going to be able to withstand a bone marrow transplant. Their body may reject it. So they got to figure out a way that they can mimic this same thing happening, but in a more less invasive way. So I want to kind of break that down to you guys, because I saw that in the comment, and wanted to say that. And then we also had another question for you, darling. And I wrote it down, but I wanted to read. Oh, so Deanna wants to know, and Deanna is watching on Facebook. She wants to know, I would love to know, what kind of symptoms do you have to know if you have HIV?
I will say this: the most important symptom is none. So, meaning you should be getting tested whether you're sexually active or not, because there's more ways than sex to have contracted the virus. So I would say get tested every 3 to 6 months. Even if you're not sexually active, get tested every 3 to 6 months, because I was asymptomatic. So I didn't have no symptoms. And then some of the symptoms mimic, which I'll name
Yeah.
a few symptoms: the flu-like symptoms, fatigue, diarrhea, fever, nausea, thrush, a rash, a body rash. Those all could be just that. It could be the flu. It could be a cold. It could be thrush, because a lot of people do get thrush. And it doesn't have to be from HIV. A lot of people get rashes. It doesn't have to be from HIV, because the rash can mimic eczema.
Yeah.
And, so I will say get tested every 3 to 6 months. And if you test positive, if you're on Facebook, my name is right there. It is a picture of myself, not the one with me and my two girls. You can inbox me and I will give you my personal information and we can have a conversation. Because I know what it's like to be newly diagnosed. I was 22 and knew nothing. So I was diagnosed in 94. So
That was
I've been
a
living
whole
with
nother
HIV.
world.
I am now 52 years old, and I've lived half of my life being HIV positive. And as my mother said, I was supposed to die because I had AIDS. But I'm still here 30 years later. So be looking out. I'm going to say this: be looking out for my book.
Yeah, I can't
Um,
wait. I can't wait.
so there might still be somebody in the comments. I'm not for sure she's still in, and I cannot pronounce her name, so I'm gonna call her out. Her name is Teak, but her first name is SHIQ something or another. That's my sister. That is the person who is my profile picture on Facebook. That was his wife. So yeah, so that's my best friend. And I know he would be proud of me because I'm doing this and I'm very nervous. So, um,
Oh, is it the? Let me see. Shatika.
yes,
I see it.
yes, that's
Yeah.
her. Hey sis, I love
She said,
you.
"Look, Shatika
Thank you for
said,
joining us.
finally, right? Tell her again, finally.
I
Like, how
love
long did we
you.
have to wait for this book? Like,
Right. So, I know he would be very, very proud of me. And he's been on my ass because I don't know if y'all believe in spirits and afterlife, but I should do. And he's been haunting me for the last like year.
mm.
Um, so yeah, so it's time for me to do my book. Because I don't want to do my book. I want to do it, but I don't want to do it because we were supposed to do a book together and he was going to help me and I was going to help him and he passed
Right.
away. So I don't want to do it because I feel like that was for me and him to do, but he told me I have to because if I don't, he's gonna keep kicking my ass in my sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So
so yeah.
yeah, so okay, so we got that question. Now again, I'm gonna pull my belt out on Tannis because Tannis was tardy to the party. And you know what happened when they tardy for the party? They don't get all the information. But this is a good point for us to kind of you know, reset and let everybody know exactly what we're listening to right now. So if you're tuning in right now, this is my girl Lisa O, because I butcher her last name to filth, okay? Um and Lisa is
If you look at, like, wait a minute, look at it,
or
look at it.
Obradovich.
Oh,
Oh
Brad,
Brad. See, I
oh,
be saying want to say bruh.
Brad, oh,
Oh
Rich.
Bradovich.
Yeah,
See, I be want to say, oh, bro, oh, Brado. I be want to say something else. I don't know.
I trust me, I
Yeah, I
understand.
don't know.
Okay, but you can finish. I'm sorry.
No, they know I'm always messing up a name.
It's okay because I do too.
So, like Lisa just said, she has been diagnosed since she was 22 years old. She's now 52. So, that is 30 years old if you do the math, you guys. And she has been surviving as someone who is HIV positive. Now, I wanted to ask you a question that I thought of while you were talking. Because I know you
Mhm.
mentioned, that your ex, he's also taking the medications, he's doing well. So how was that whole thing of like you finding out? Like, did he not know his status? Like, how did
No,
that? He didn't know his status either, and
he didn't know.
so you ended up telling him your status. How did you find out?
Actually, the how okay, so the I don't know if they sent a letter or sent somebody to his house. I can't remember which one because it's been 30 years. But he found out and then he called me and was like, what's this that you have HIV? I said, yeah, I tested positive for HIV, so you need to go get tested. And because you're the only person I've been with for the last 4 years, 5 years.
Mm,
So he denied it and didn't get tested.
wow.
So thankfully, when he finally did go get tested, thankfully he didn't have an AIDS diagnosis because it was several years later that he was using substances um, that could have, been really detrimental for him,
Right.
being positive and not being on medications. So yeah, yeah,
Oh wow.
he didn't believe me when I did tell him that I did test positive. He said you're lying and didn't believe me. So I'm like, okay, I don't have to lie,
Right.
but
So look. So now I gotta be nosy.
mm, go
So
ahead.
was he cheating, or was
Yes.
it like so he was cheating? Because I was gonna say, well, could it been a thing where he had it and then he just,
Mm-mm.
before like say before y'all was together, maybe he could have had it and just never wanted to get tested. Like he didn't want to get tested then. So he was cheating. He was out
He
there.
was
He was for the streets. Okay, got it.
mm, yep. He cheated, and so what happened is me and him. He ended up relapsing, and when he relapsed, he cheated on me. And then he showed
Mm,
up at my house the next morning and spent the weekend with me. And yes, we had intercourse. And that's when I contracted gonorrhea. When he left that Sunday night, that Monday morning, I felt like I was dying.
Wow.
And I went to the emergency room and got tested, and I ended up having gonorrhea. They ended up treating me for that, like I said. And then I didn't have any symptoms. So I went from June all the way until November and went in for my yearly checkup, and that's when they tested me.
Right. Okay. Look, my friend Jay is watching on YouTube. He say, "Why I don't see nobody else comments?" So Jay, so Jay, what's happening is you're watching it on YouTube. A lot of people are watching it on Facebook, and a lot of people are watching it on X. So it's like everybody's watching it everywhere. So that's why you won't see it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to watch it on Facebook, here, what I'll do, I'll send you the link where you can watch it. If you want to watch it on Facebook and see where everybody else comment too.
And I
So
think there's
it depends on where you watch it. You're gonna see comments. I can see everybody's comments because I got superpowers and stuff over here. Um, I can see everybody's comments, but hold on, let me get. I got you, friend. I got you. Hold on. Hold on.
And if you guys want to follow me on either one of those platforms, I'm also on Snapchat, which my screen name on Snapchat I think is
Well, yeah, I don't even use Snap. I use Snapchat when I want to take pictures with filters and
right.
make funny, that little thing. That's what
Right. But I'm
Yvette,
on Snapchat. I'm on Instagram. My Instagram is so my Snapchat is baby girl BABIGRL 13. And then my IG is, I think, hold on. I don't even know my screen names. That's sad.
But I want to. So Yvette asked the question as well. Yvette said, "What is
Okay.
CD4?" And shout out to my big sis Raquel answered the question as well. So basically,
Thank you,
CD4
sis.
is that's your T helper cells, those ones that help you fight off infections. Your white blood cells. That
Mm-hmm.
is those cells. So with the CD4, what happens is the more you have, the less chance you have of getting sick, getting any
Mm-hmm.
opportunistic infections, all those things. The lower the number, the more at risk you are. And
Mm-hmm.
once that number actually gets as low to a certain number, that is when you're also looking at possibly having an AIDS diagnosis, along with your viral load being super high. Um,
Mm-hmm.
because they're like I know for me, remember when I had those shingles, um, my CD4 took a hit when I had those shingles. So my CD4 is literally
Mm-hmm.
climbing, but I'm undetectable, which means I can't transmit the virus to anyone. Nobody could ever get the virus from me. So, but my CD4 is still climbing. So that's why, like, I can still, if I could still
Mm-hmm.
kind of get sick because my CD4 is not up
Up
high.
there.
Like you said,
Yeah.
900. Girl, I'm trying to get there.
Yeah.
Okay. Um,
So I
yeah.
noticed also, and they will also tell you when you go to the doctor that if you have a cold or any type of infections or anything, it will affect your CD4, and your CD4 count will go low if you're sick while you have blood work done. And also, they will say that when you're sick, you lose 7 T cells each time you're sick. And
Yeah.
they told me that, like, when I first got diagnosed, I was at the doctor and they're like, oh, well, did you know that, you lose every time you get sick, you lose 7 T cells. I was like, wow,
Yeah.
I did not know that. And I didn't even know until, because I was like, why is it every time I get my blood work done, my CD4 count is like fluctuating? And they said, well, was you sick? Did you have a cold? This, or this? And I was like, yeah, I think I was a little sick. And they said, that's why. So yeah, you having any type of infections or anything will affect your CD4 counts.
Right. And you welcome Mr. Majestic. He said, thanks for breaking down that process of the CCR25. I mean, R5 Delta 32 mutation. Yeah. Because a lot of people, they don't understand it. They like, well, how did that happen? Why they can't just do it for everybody? So
Well,
sometimes you got to break it down.
yeah, and people don't understand that, the people who did get cured from HIV from the bone marrow had another illness that needed the bone marrow, and it ended up curing both, or however it
Right.
went.
Yeah.
And
And
I don't
then,
know enough, because people ask me about it and I'm like, I don't know enough about it, but I know that they were sick from something else. I didn't know it was
yeah.
cancer, but they were sick from something else, needed a bone marrow transfusion, and that also cured the
Right.
HIV. So, and that's the only way I know how to explain it, because I didn't know enough
Right.
about it until you just explained.
Yeah. So, we got Leah Vega wants to know, how long does it take to find out you have HIV?
I know people who have tested within 9 days of being who of contracting the virus, and they tested positive, but it could take anywhere from 30 to 90 days.
Wow. I don't think I ever know.
So if you test,
No, actually, I take that
so
back.
if
I was
you
gonna say I
test,
don't think I ever known anybody know that soon, but I did. I had one young lady who found out. Well, she didn't really. Well, she kind of found out, but she went to kind of to donate blood, and they didn't tell her what it
Mhm.
wrong. They just, there's a certain thing when you donate blood and they run your blood real quick to make sure everything's fine. There's a certain thing
Mhm.
that pops up that tells them, and all they told her was take this and go see your primary care doctor. And she sent it to me
Okay.
because I guess, hey, I got primary care doctor across my forehead.
Right.
Oh, no, I'm just joking. But she sent it to me and she was like, well, what does this mean? And I'm looking at it, and because that's what I do. I know all this detailed scientific stuff about this virus. I immediately knew
Right.
what it was, and then I was like, I say, well, let me just. I say I'll do some research because I knew what it meant, but I still want to do some more detailed research. And I say, just still
Mhm.
do what they said. Go to your doctor. And so she went to the doctor. Her doctor ended up testing her, and she ended up being positive. Um,
Oh,
yeah, I mean that's what that was saying on that paper when she did it. It was basically
yeah.
saying, and it caught it early. That was an early detector.
Mhm.
This
Okay.
dog over here knocking bottles over.
Yeah. But yeah, so um that's why I say it's important to get tested every 3 to 6 months anyway. Um, and then also, if you feel like you was with somebody and you might have contracted the virus, go in, get tested, and then do another test at the 90-day mark, and then that should be a conclusive test if it's negative or positive. Um, and then also you can also get on PEP. What is it? 72
Yes,
hours
within
after
72
exposure.
hours.
72 hours after exposure, you can get on PEP. And then if you want to get on PrEP, you can get on PrEP. And PrEP is for males and females. A lot of people think it's just for
Right.
males
That's
because
what they advertising.
the
Yeah.
exactly. I was just gonna say the commercials make it seem like it's just for men, and it's not. It's for women. And so you can, that's always an option for you to get on too. So um because condoms are not
Right.
100% effective.
Yeah.
People can use them wrong. I've never had an issue with condoms or anything breaking or anything like
Right.
that, but I know how to use them. So
Raquel said, "Oh, it's Obradovich."
no, it's not.
That's what I was
Look,
like.
what does she call me? Big baby?
Big
I think she calls me Big Baby because my
baby
name is Baby
girl.
Girl. On Yeah, because my original name on TikTok was Baby
Right.
Girl, and she calls me Big Baby, I think. So
And
yeah.
hey,
I
everybody,
don't care what you
Antoinette.
guys call
Hey,
me. Just
Antoinette.
don't call me late for dinner because I love food.
Hey, Antoinette. Hey, you guys. Hello, hello. Let me see. Good evening, Toria. Um, let's see. Um, Mr. Majestic said another potential functional or sterilizing HIV cure is HLPs, which is HIV-like particles. It's currently in a clinical trial development, which uses dead HIV particles to increase immune response. Wow. Now let me
Hmm.
hold on. I got to go.
Write that down. Shit. I
HLP.
should brought me a
Listen,
book.
now I got some
Right? I should have
homework
wrote
to
that down.
do. Homework. Hello.
Right. You know what, guys? I'm gonna say this. I
HIV.
believe there is a cure. I believe there is a cure now for HIV. But Why would they give out a cure for HIV when, I'm going to say this one time, the injection that I'm on is $6,500 for a 2-month supply? So why would they have a cure when they're
When they gotta
making so
make
much
money.
money off of these
But it's
medications?
always been like that.
And that I've seen people where their medication is $8,000 a month.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just like,
When I was taking, what was it? I was taking 3, Norvia, Redtas, and Truvada. Each one of those were either 3,000 or 4,000 for a 30-day supply. So that's literally what, 10,000.
Yeah, so Desi, I
That's
think, was
10,000 just in 3
or
medicines in
36.
1 month. Yeah, yeah.
So why would they give out a cure to cure us?
Yeah, that's always been my thought process.
Yep.
Why would they give us something when the money is there? Like, it's always going to be about money. You know, and we always
I will say
that question, you know, is there a cure? Is there a cure?
Yep.
I personally believe there is something. Here's the thing: if you can get somebody to the point of being undetectable, what's stopping you from jumping that last little step? Yep. There's no way that they haven't accidentally stumbled upon the one and all. Okay.
Why do all these millions of people who have passed away from the virus, including my husband, when there's it baffles me, because there's too many, you know, my husband gave up and stopped taking these medications. So there are people who, you know, get tired of taking the medications. I'm tired of taking medications.
That's why I got
but
this
I have
injection, because I was tired. I was literally,
yeah.
It becomes a,
and ain't nobody gonna take care of your children better than you.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you still have babies. My children are old enough to take care of themselves now. Like, my youngest is going to be 18, so I have older children. But I still want to be here for my children. I want to be able to have my children, my biological children, because I'm not technically a grandma, but I do have grandkids that call me grandma from my kids' siblings, because my kids all have older siblings. So, like, my children are all the babies of their siblings.
Hey,
so
Tony.
They have older siblings that have children. Yeah. So I have no biological grandkids, but I do have grandkids. That I have actually like 30 grandkids.
Yeah, Tony said, "Good evening, beautiful ladies. All the pharmaceutical companies care about is the money." That's Tony. That I interviewed the other week. Tony Scott. Yeah.
Okay, I think I missed.
Yeah.
I think
hey,
I missed
Tony. Tony. Yeah, it's crazy.
Hello, Tony.
Tannis wants to know about your kids. Are your kids all negative?
Yes, all but one.
She said all but one. And then Lisa, Lisa said, are you still on the injection? You just started the injection though, right?
No, I've been on the injection for years.
Wait. Oh no, we were just talking about it. No, that's what it was. Yeah, we were just she's we were just talking about it.
I was on it. I was actually one of the ones that
I was going to say 3 years ago you had to be one of the first.
It was fairly new.
Because I couldn't get it then. My doctor was like, girl, I need you to do X, Y, Z first.
Yeah. Yeah. And see, I was always compliant with my medicine, so I wasn't missing a lot of doses when I was on pill form. So I was always undetectable. I never was detectable, because they want you to be undetectable for at least a year before you get on the injection.
Yeah.
I
know for me, because that was one of my things. My doctor kept saying, I need you to get undetectable. I need you to get undetectable. And I'm like, yes. Like, you know, I'm saying yes, but my actions was not yesing her. And so I believe I know I was at least undetectable for about, not the full year. It wasn't a full year, but it was close to it. And she was like, when I check these next labs, they better be showing undetectable, because I'm getting ready to send this to your insurance. And
Right.
so
And you just
everything.
reminded me, I got to call my insurance because they said that my Cabanuva isn't covered under my
Wow.
insurance. So I might have to switch back to the other insurance I was on.
Yeah, and so she did it, and so I was like, okay. So every time they check now, it has been undetected. I haven't had any issues. So I'm doing every
Awesome.
month. She said so I'm gonna
Okay.
switch to every other month starting in the new year. Cause like
That's good. That's good.
I go Friday for my next injection, and that's November. So I'll go back December and get one, and then I won't see her again. I think once I get the one in January, then she'll switch me to every other month. Yeah,
Okay.
because
Okay.
they just want to
Yeah.
make sure. Because I know she was saying that they also had some people where they're probably going to have to start increasing the dosaging because some people are having breakthroughs
Mhm.
from that every other month where before the next injection they're taking a dip
Yeah.
in their viral load going up.
Yep.
So they're looking at that.
Yeah. There's a young lady that I know on TikTok. She was on the injection and they had to take her off of it and put her back on Biktarvy because um, she was getting a detectable viral load.
Oh,
So um, they had to put her back on Biktarvy. So she's now on
yeah.
Biktarvy. And there, I've known a couple of people that was on the injection and they had to get back on pills because it wasn't working for them. And sometimes that happens. Like I could be on it for, I like I said, I've been on it almost 3 years, and I can become detectable, and it could stop
Yeah.
working, just like pills can
Yeah.
stop working. You know, and me and I was going to call you Raquel. Me and Ladybird both know somebody who had an AIDS diagnosis in 2009 and is now back at a regular HIV status. Um, so it's
Yeah.
possible. It's possible to have an AIDS diagnosis and go back. When my husband was diagnosed with AIDS, he gave up and didn't want to fight anymore. So, and there was back then when he got the AIDS diagnosis, there wasn't as many medications. So he was resistant to almost all
Right.
of them. So he was out of options for medication. So he ended up getting pneumonia and passing away from pneumonia. So you don't pass away from AIDS, guys. You pass away from other
Yeah.
illnesses. And I can't say the word, so I'm not even going to attempt to say it. You can say it, Lady Bird. But you get the
Opportunistic infections.
there you go. What she said.
It does make you get tongue tied.
um, yeah. So you don't pass from AIDS. You pass from the other illnesses, and it will not say that you pass from AIDS on a death
Right.
certificate. It'll say whether you pass from
Pneumonia,
pneumonia or
skin cancer.
whatever
It'll
you
even
pass.
say like
Because
skin cancer and things like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because my husband passed away from
Yeah,
pneumonia.
so look, somebody said stress will do it quicker. Listen, stress, that's one of the things that all of the doctors will tell you. The one thing they don't want you to do is stress. But it's like, wait, how do you expect someone to not stress when you got to take your pills? You got to do this, you got to do that. Like, how am I not supposed to stress? Like, I
Yep.
literally almost went to the wrong doctor today because I've been over here trying to keep up with appointments since I transitioned from Jacksonville to Tampa. And I'm writing in my book. I'm looking this morning. I was like, oh, okay. I go to cardiology today. And I'm thinking my appointment was at 1 o'clock. I get a phone call
Oh,
while we eating breakfast. I'm getting a phone call. You know, you had an appointment at 11. I did. I was like, you sure? It said 1. And I was like, wait, for cardiology? And they were like, no, this is the kidney doctor. I was like, oh, okay. So but they end up taking me at like 1:30. But I looked at my book, I was like, I'm looking at Tuesday of next week, thinking today was Tuesday.
that's like my roommate thought she had to be at work today, and it's not this Wednesday; it's next Wednesday.
Man.
So she went to work and like, "What are you doing here?"
Yeah, so it's like you can't you don't want to stress, but sometimes it's like life is gonna give you stressors, and things. Let me see. I did see another question somebody was asking. Let me see what it said. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Oh, I know somebody was
Sorry,
asking.
guys, my roommate
You
is an
look,
asshole.
my little nosy friend Tannis. She wants to know because you mentioned one of your children. Was it one of your older kids? Oh, okay.
Yeah. My daughter Liz, she's
Okay.
23. Her father was abusive and didn't believe that I was positive. So, and that was when I was an elite
Yeah.
controller. Um, that was right before I got put on medication. She was born in 2001.
Yeah. And yeah, and one of the things you guys have to also understand too, when it comes to the kids, sometimes it's not even necessarily that we like the parents are not giving the kids the medication. A lot of times it can just be some of the kids don't even their bodies reject the medicine. You got to think about it. These are
Mm-hmm.
babies, and you're giving them liquid medicine that tastes like crap.
It does
They
taste like
spitting it
shit.
out, lots of different things. So it's like sometimes you only can hope that they're actually getting all of the medication. Things happen. Sometimes the babies end up
Mm-hmm.
keeping the mothers, keeping their antibodies, and that can also cause the virus to linger around and force
Mm-hmm.
itself onto them as well. Yeah,
Yeah, that's why they want to test. So that's why they'll test the babies until they're 18 months old, because they can carry their mom's antibodies up to 18
right,
months. And if that test at that 18-month mark is positive, then they're positive. If it's negative, then they're negative.
right.
But I was told also that if a baby has tested positive anytime throughout those 18 months, like let's say they tested negative, then tested positive, then tested negative, negative,
Mhm.
negative, and then tested positive at that 18-month mark, they might test again in another 3 months to make sure and do a
Right.
confirmation
Yeah.
test. But all of my children who were born after Liz, which was two, they tested negative throughout the whole 18 months.
Yeah.
So
You see nosy,
um,
right? Just no.
yeah, I
You
see
see
her.
Lisa?
That's a
You see her?
hi, baby.
Look, she's right here.
Hi.
Right here. Say Carly.
Is that a boy or a
Carly.
girl? Okay.
Look, she look.
Hi, baby. You're such a
She's so
cutie.
smart. You see, she like,
I love the way she
yeah,
turns her head. My dog
she
does
does
that.
that on FaceTime.
Hi,
She gets
baby.
on FaceTime with my
You're right.
mom and my daughter, and they talk to her like they have whole
Okay.
conversations, and she's like, huh? Like, you're so nosy.
Right.
She was standing down here between my legs trying to climb up in the chair, and I kept pushing away, and finally I gave in. But yeah,
Yeah, my roommate was letting her dog out, and he was being a
yeah,
we call him an asshole because he's still a puppy. He's not like 9 months old, I think, and he's a labradoodle, and he's bigger than my pit bull.
yeah.
He can like hover over my pit bull.
Tanny, you didn't like the great meds. What great meds is you talking about? The great. Listen, I was that kid that ate the whole bottle of Flintstone vitamins in like a week because it just was too good. I would go in there and sneak.
See
I would
stuff like
look.
I'm
I used
telling
to
you,
go
guys.
in there and sneak the Flintstone vitamins like it was candy.
Yeah, I'm telling you, the medication that they have for the kids is
It
nasty
is.
as
It is
hell.
because when I had to
I
give when I had
tasted.
to give Mila her meds as an infant, um, listen, it was disgusting. I was like, let me see what this says because it was one. I forgot what it was. I can't think of what that medicine
He pulled you.
because they also give them the medicine to try to keep them from having the
Hmm?
virus, and then they also give them what is it? Sometimes they give them Bactrim.
Hmm?
But see, they'll give them the Bactrim and they'll give them, and that's how we found out she was allergic to Bactrim because
Oh
we thought
wow.
she had a milk allergy, but she was scratching her hair and pulling her hair out because she kept getting like these rashes and everything, and they was told she
Be
was allergic
quiet.
to Bactrim. So I was so glad
Yeah,
when I didn't
my
have to give it to her
I
no
think
more.
Bactrim is the only antibiotic that huh?
No, I was saying I was so glad when I didn't have to give her that medicine no more.
I know, right?
Cause
I think it was Haley. I think it was Haley. Like she would spit it out, and I'd have to give it to her again because she'd spit it out.
All right. So, Alexandra, are we cousins? We got the same last name, girl. Alexandra wants to
That's
know how do you say this has changed your outlook on life?
I will say this. When I was 22, newly diagnosed, knew nothing about HIV, I would have been the stigma. I would have been people who would have been like, touch me, you know. Um, I would have felt like I was going to contract the virus just by touching them. But now that I'm educated, I know I can live a long, like, I'm 52. I was 22 when I was diagnosed. I'm not dying anytime soon. I'm still
Right.
undetectable. My CD4 is 900. My viral load is undetectable. Um, and I know I can live a long life. I know people that were diagnosed in the 70s.
Yeah.
So they're like 80 and 90 years old and still kicking. Um, so I will say this, from then to now, get tested every 3 to 6 months, even if you're not sexually active, because there are other ways you can contract HIV. A lot of people don't want to believe that you can get it from a tattoo shop, you can get it from a dentist, you can get it from a nail salon. It's not common, but it can happen.
Right.
Um, Matter of fact, I don't know if y'all have known the story of the dentist who was at a veterans hospital, who was
Oh yeah.
my daughter, the person I contracted HIV from goes to that clinic.
Wow.
He goes to the VA in St. Louis, Missouri. So yeah, and it's not common to get it in a tattoo salon, but a lot of people get tattoos done in house parties, and
Oh
are getting
yeah.
them done,
Little tattoo parties and
and some of those people are not clean. Um, and if you are going to a tattoo salon, please make sure that they're changing the needle in front of you.
child
They're
prison
cleaning.
tattoos. You know they be going to prison getting tattoos and stuff too.
Yep, prison
Like, ugh.
tattoos, house tattoos, because some of those people aren't clean. So,
Yeah,
and get tested every 3 to 6 months, even if you're not sexually active.
absolutely.
And if you test positive and you want to reach out to me, inbox me and we'll talk.
Nicole wants to know: are either of you planning to remarry?
Yeah, if the right person comes around, yeah, most definitely. Because
Man,
I
listen.
am dual. I have a dual infection. So I also live with herpes. So yeah, if the right person comes along, then yeah.
I don't know.
But you know what?
I'm just saying, I don't
My
know
roommate,
because
well, my roommate is
the
like
way
this.
my patience is set up with other human beings, preferably me. Um, I don't know. I'm so like I told somebody the other day. It's like you get so comfortable not being in a relationship, not
Mm,
having to answer to nobody. Well, what you doing? Where you at? Who that? Like you get comfortable with that. I'm comfortable. I ain't sitting on the phone all night. Not that I don't mind sitting on the phone and talking. I'm a texter more than I am really talking on the phone. But it's
and see,
like after so long, you get so used to um,
being
you get
alone.
to it, and it's like so if I do end up being with somebody, like the only person I really have thought about entertaining being in a relationship with is my ex from 2012. If y'all read my book, Mr. New York, okay. If you read my book, the last chapter of my book is about Mr. New York. He's the only person that I have considered being in a relationship currently. We've been communicating and talking, so that's gonna be a huge possibility. So you might see him pop up again. Um, not too
Cool, cool, cool.
yeah.
But
So
guys, I will say this: I'm not against it. I'm totally open to it, but I am content with being single. I don't like people that much, so I will say this: I like food more than I like people. So,
right.
um,
Listen,
uh,
do
but I'm
y'all
not
hear this
close
dang
to.
on dog purring like a cat?
Oh,
You heard it?
Just, yes.
No, I'm gonna tell you. I'm trying to slowly ease her out of my lap, and she's like growling at me and purring because she don't want me to put her down. I'm trying to put her on the floor. She don't want to get down, like girl.
But guys, please follow me either on the
Make sure
Facebook
you
or
guys
the
follow
TikTok,
me
because
too.
I am going to be starting my book in January of 2025. I'm going to
I
be
can't
starting my book.
wait. I
Um,
can't
and I'm going to
wait.
say this, there's going to be 6 books. So it's going to be in 5-year increments of me living with HIV for 30 years.
Yeah.
So be looking out for them.
Oh, I see another question. One of my friends on X, they wanted to know. He talking about how did Charlie Sheen get it? How you think? He was having sexual intercourses.
Yep.
Charlie Sheen, I think, has had the most memorable of status reveal.
Yeah.
Like
You
his
know,
reveal was
I don't even remember him having it. How I remember HIV was the diver from the Olympics who busted his head on the diving board.
oh yeah. Well, see, Charlie Sheen was later on.
Yeah,
Charlie Sheen
but
was way
I think he came out later on, but he still was positive
well,
at that time.
Charlie Sheen only came out publicly because someone was trying to blackmail him.
What's wrong?
Someone was trying to blackmail him, and they were telling him, if you don't come out, or if you don't give me X amount of dollars, I'm going to tell the world. I'm going to send it to the blogs. So that's what made Charlie Sheen come out and
Come
tell
out,
the
yeah.
world, because he was being blackmailed. And then he went on this whole rampage about the tiger blood and all that stuff. Like, sir. Oh, yeah, Alexandra. You in St. Louis. Listen, Alexandra, you have a whole lot of cousins and relatives, last name Burgess. We are plentiful. I guarantee you, if you did your ancestry DNA, which is $39 right now on their website, look, I don't get paid for plugging it, but I found a lot of relatives, okay? I'll guarantee
And look, I'm
you're
from
gonna
St.
find
Louis,
family.
so
You're gonna find family in South Carolina, North Carolina, and Florida are the biggest regions for Burgess. So you're gonna find a whole lot of cousins and relatives. Look, Nicole said she loved Mr. New York. Girl, I love Mr. New York.
I really need. So, do you have your book in paperback or
Yeah,
on like
I got a box of them over here. I have a box of books. Do y'all need books? Who needs a book? Let me put the list in. Who needs a book? Let me put the website. You got www.ladybirdofficial.
I grabbed all. Actually, yeah.
My daughter Haley says she wants a book.
I grabbed all my books from storage.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah, I had to. I've been
I got that book, and I have my team book too.
Don't you have like 4 or 5 books out?
I have 3 books.
3. Okay, I knew it was.
I have the first book, which is the autobiography, Married But It Can Happen. I have HIV Around Me, which is my teen book for teens and young. And then I have my newest book.
I need to get that one for Haley.
The newest book, I literally, let me tell y'all, I pushed through finishing that book because that's when I got shingles last year. That's my book for newly diagnosed individuals. And that one is called Getting Through Your HIV Diagnosis. It's levels to this, Getting Through Your HIV Diagnosis. So,
but guys, be looking out for my book.
Yes, Surviving 30 Years, right? That's the title.
I actually think that I'm going to title it Surviving 30 Years.
Yeah, that's what I just told them. Surviving 30
But like
years.
I said, it's not gonna be the full 30 years all in one book. I'm gonna separate it into 5-year increments. So it's gonna be 6 books.
Nice. That's gonna be great.
So I'm gonna keep y'all in suspense.
Everybody keeps telling me I need to hurry up and make a movie. They want a movie so bad. Movies cost money.
They do.
They cost money, y'all. Let me tell y'all, I have reached out to movie directors, producers. I done been reaching out to so many people over the last couple of years, and it is so hard. We gonna just listen, y'all. We gonna have a Tubi movie. Y'all keep playing around,
right? And you know what? I want to interview you because I want you to tell your story.
Listen,
want
we're gonna
more
be around
people
here
to hear
filming the
your
whole
story.
movie. We're gonna be filming the whole movie with the iPhone. If y'all look the way
Right?
it's going.
Like
Ooh. What you say if somebody that you dated wrote a book? Somebody say that somebody wrote a book about them and they put their name, put them in the book with an alias. Wow. Do I have auto books?
I was supposed to get it.
I think she's saying audio. I don't have audio books. I have ebooks. I do have ebooks available, but I don't have any audio books because I don't. They said I need to read my own books. Y'all want to hear this country voice read a book?
But we might.
Y'all want to hear this? Read a book.
But you know what? For being from Florida, you're not really all that country. Because I've heard some people from Florida.
No, my friend said I sound like I'm from Georgia. They say I sound like I'm from Georgia. I had one friend say I sound like Tiny from Escape. They say you sound like Tiny. I was like,
I don't like. I don't know because I don't listen to her.
I was like, oh my goodness. But yeah, so make sure you guys are following Lisa on her social media platforms. Specifically Facebook, Lisa Obradovich, and it's gonna be a picture with just her. Yes, I said it. And then also on TikTok, Lil Lisa 50. Yes,
My daughter,
yes.
you said your name right.
And look, I almost had a stroke trying to say it right, child.
Right.
And yes, when that book comes out, we are definitely going to have an interview to talk about it. I can't wait for your book. Tony's writing a book. Mm-hmm. All these books, I love books. So
and Crazy are writing a book. Or Nosy and Crazy are writing
a book. Nosy and Crazy writing a book. Ungrateful but thankful on Twitter said cheers to 30 more.
Thank you.
Look, Erica talking about you really sound like a Georgia girl.
Everybody says I sound like I'm from New York or Jersey, and I'm not even from nowhere near there. I was born in Indiana and grew up in St. Louis.
Oh, child, Tony, I ain't seen your book yet. Probably. How did you get the book? Wait.
Yeah, St. Louis has that New York, Jersey.
I sent the book, Tony. Did I not send the book? Wait a minute. Look, I'm over here like, did I not send the book? Did something stop me from sending the book? Tony, I didn't send it. Lord have mercy. Let me get my butt to the post office in the morning and get Tony this book. I was supposed to send Tony a book, y'all. You know what? And you right, Tony. I didn't send it because you did send me the address. You sent me the address and I wrote it down. And I'm looking at it on my sticky note on my table. I'm gonna get your book out tomorrow because I gotta go to the post office. I got 2 other packages I gotta ship out tomorrow. So, and I still ain't picked the winners from the other lives. I'm been a bad.
Just text me said she had to leave because her sugar was dropping.
Oh no, go get that orange juice, baby.
He said it's time to put the pen to the paper.
Yes, I got you, Tony girl. I'm so sorry. It's been a wild last couple weeks. I'm gonna send you. I'm gonna package your book up tonight and go to the post office in the morning and drop it off. For sure. I got you because I got your address right here. I'm looking at it. That's why I'm like, wait. And I gotta send Miss Mary Lily her book too. That's who I gotta take hers. I got like, I have. It's been a long month. Okay. Milton did a lot for Florida.
It did. It really did because my mom lives like not even 30 minutes from Sarasota.
Oh yeah, so she was,
and it hit my mom, but thankfully it didn't hit her really bad, because she's more inland from Sarasota.
Yeah,
but yeah, my mom.
All right, Tony, I got you. I'm gonna get your book to you, girl. So I definitely appreciate you coming on here, Lisa. I know you was like, I'm kind of nervous, girl. You ain't nervous, whatever.
like I had butterflies when we first came on. I had butterflies. Trust me, I did.
Well, you did an amazing job. If you guys caught the end of this and did not catch the beginning, please make sure you go and watch the replay so that you guys can hear Lisa's story. If you have questions once this live ends, you can still comment. Lisa, you'll be able to go back to and see the comments and respond to people individually if you want to as well on here on YouTube. And if you go onto Twitter, you'll be able to see comments on there. Thank you guys so much. I may end up having 2 more interviews because there's 2 people that I wasn't able to interview yet. So I may end up rescheduling them. So if I do, I'll let you guys know. But other than that, this episode here is kind of really closing out this year's Lady Bird Live on Facebook. I had an amazing time learning my guests this year, learning things I didn't know. Shout out to Sequoia Destiny, everybody who I've interviewed, Miss Tony, you, who else I got? Listen, I don't want to leave nobody's name out. Everybody,
right.
Oh, yes, my girl Kat Newman. This was definitely a year where we were introduced to some new advocates, some people who are now stepping into their voices, and they are wanting to talk to you guys. So thank you guys for tuning in and watching, taking your time out to ask us questions and to learn. We appreciate
and thank you for everybody that joined in from my side of the world and her side of the world. Thank you. I was a little bit nervous because on TikTok I only have like 5,000, maybe 7,000 people, and she has like a zillion followers. She's been doing this longer than I have. I have been an advocate throughout the 30 years. I was an advocate when I first got diagnosed, but then when I moved away and moved back to St. Louis, Missouri, I wasn't able to advocate like I was when I was in Florida because I wasn't certified. Which I want to get back into it. I really want to educate the youth and young adults. So I have to get certified for that. But be looking out for me on billboards. Be looking out for my book. Because I am going to travel the United States.
Yeah, I'm about to send you another grandchild while you at it.
Girl.
Because
how old are they?
She's trying to comb the dog hair with my human comb.
Oh, heck no.
I'd be doing
like
that.
what you
that's her. That is her. She does that to the cat and the dog.
Girl, if you don't go get her brush tomorrow.
Simba's hair is long. I have a Persian Mancoon cat. And you've seen him when I first came live.
Yeah. I thought I was going to be able to deal with her hair this long. And I'm already ready to go tell them to cut half of it down.
Right.
I'm like, girl.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you guys. And thank you.
Thank you. Love you. Hey, Kiana.
And we need to interview you.
Let me get off of here because this girl my house is going to be in shambles. She want to light the candle. Yeah, she over here. You know, after a certain time, they ready to bother everything in the house.
All right, guys. I love all of you. Love your faces. Love you, s'mores. Love you to the eternity. Love you, Lady Bird.
Love you. All right. Good night, you guys.